Good afternoon. Today we are going to be making macaroni cheese. So in next week's lesson, this is what you are expected to make, okay? So we're going to go through lots of instructions today. Yes, we're doing a video, so it's a little bit different, I understand that. But any questions you have, please do ask, okay? So I have my Year 9 class with me today, and next week they will be making macaroni cheese. So over here, I have got some water which is boiling, okay? So I had it on for a little while, and I'm just going to put it back on so I can put the macaroni in there. In this bowl, I've got about 300 grams of macaroni. So this is pasta, but it's shaped like the shape of macaroni. So it's got a little hole inside, which they expand and become a bit bigger, so the cheese sauce can go in between, okay? So I'm going to place all of this pasta into my boiling water. After I finish with my bowl, it goes straight into the sink, always, okay? Always put everything into the sink. Tidy up as you go along, thinking of health and safety, okay? So we want to be trying to be able to see what's in the pots, please, miss, yeah? Okay. So some salt for flavour when you put the pasta in, always when you're making pasta, okay? Please do make sure you write note of the ingredients and the method as I am doing this. We have some oil. We're going to put some oil into the pasta. This makes sure that it doesn't stick together, okay? Giving that a quick stir, just so it makes sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. Okay. That's my first step, always boiling my pasta. Now, this lid has got little holes on the side here, so it makes it easier for the air to be released as well. So I'm going to put it on the side here and cover it so that will boil a little bit quicker than normal, okay? Now I've got my large pan here. I will show you how to make a roux, okay? I'll tell you exactly what that is in a moment. Okay. Sometimes if they don't turn on, give it a little wiggle. There you go. And it does generally turn on, okay? Medium heat, making sure your handle is on the side so you're not bashing it or falling into it. Okay, over here, I have some butter, okay? I won't be using this much butter. I'll show you. About 50 grams of butter I will use. Cutting them in 2 sections. Okay. Placing that into my large pan. There we go. What do I have to do before I start cooking? Does anybody know? Yes.
You wash your hands.
Wash my hands. Always making sure that your hands are clean. If you've touched ingredients that you need to make sure your hands are clean for, just go and rinse your hands quickly. Your hands will be clean, but you're just touching different ingredients. So you don't want to, what is that word called? Yes. Yeah, cross-contamination. We want to make sure we don't do that, okay? So here, as I can see, there will be three of you working in a group, so you can keep an eye on what's going on your cooker. The pasta was boiling, so you can take the lid off if you want to and let that boil, okay, because it's quite hot already. In this pan here, my butter is melting nicely, okay. A little shine, you can see that. We want to make sure we keep an eye on this because we do not want the butter to burn, and that will give it a brown, horrible taste, okay. We don't want to do that, so keeping an eye on that. I've got a measuring spoon here. Taking a tablespoon, putting the temperature of the butter low. Okay. Taking 1 heaped tablespoon, and I know I'm going to need at least two heaped tablespoons at this process, okay? With my spatula, the reason I'm using a spatula because it's easier for me to guide around my pan, okay? So it will look a little bit like this, okay? I will show you what's inside this in a moment. Well, yes.
What's that white stuff?
This is flour. Remember I said put two heaped tablespoons of flour into your melted butter. And we're just going to cook this through. Okay? We're just going to cook this through. Now, because there is a little bit more butter, I can place a little bit more flour in there. If you have when you're watching this video, if you have a look inside, you'll see that you don't want to have it too thick or not too thin. Because what the flour will do is make your sauce thick. It's a thickening agent, okay? Okay. Again, making sure it's not getting too brown. Keep on stirring it. Somebody will have to be working on this sauce at all times, okay? If you want to share that job, that's fine as well. Time for my milk. Okay. Again, keep on stirring. Now, when I put the milk in here, it has to be at a low temperature because it will cook really quickly, okay? And you don't want to form lumps in your sauce. You don't want a lumpy sauce. So here we go. Mixing at all times. When it heats up, those lumps will disintegrate as well, okay? Here we go. Putting some more in. Putting my temperature up now. Okay, and just cooking that through. And you can see there is lumps in here, okay? But we will get rid of those lumps. Put the temperature up a bit. The temperature will control the thickness of this sauce as well, okay? So again, as you can see, I am continuously stirring, giving my pasta a stir. Sometimes when the sauce gets a little bit thick, when we finish with the pasta water, we can add a little bit of that pasta water to make the sauce a little bit thinner if we want to, okay? When I'm making pasta, I always make sure that I'm keeping a little bit of that pasta water aside. Now, taking my temperature up a little bit to a medium temperature and stirring. I'd like to sometimes break down the lumps as well, okay? This is a process, you have to be patient, okay? It's not going to happen straight away. As you can see, it's got a little bit thicker, yeah? The milk. Okay, keep on persevering. We'll take a little bit of time, but that's okay. Okay, now I will add the rest of my milk in. So here I had like 1 pint of milk, okay? They're the small cartons that you can purchase. There for a moment. I don't need this, so where should I put this? Yes.
In the bin?
Yeah, excellent. We're making sure we're tidying up all the time, okay? Making sure our surfaces are clean. Making sure everything we don't need is in there.
Wait.
It's in the sink, okay? Right, okay. Again, still trying to break down some of those lumps. That's okay, all right? Because as it heats up more, the lumps will carry on breaking up. And if they don't, we can use our tool called a balloon whisk to take some of those lumps out, okay? But at this point, we don't really need to use it. We may use it in a little while. Again, making sure we're taking everything from the side as well, because the flour does go up your pan as well, okay? See that? Still got some lumps in here. So, still going to carry on with my sauce. Now, I will get my balloon whisk out. Balloon whisk here. Okay, now, slowly. Don't need to be doing this too much. Just going to be going around the pan. Just breaking up all those lumps, okay? The heat is helping me do that as well. Yeah? Okay, some people like their mac and cheese, which is an abbreviation for macaroni cheese, like their mac and cheese quite simple, okay? But they just put salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic, not even garlic sometimes. I like mine quite flavoursome, I like it all my food flavoursome. So what ingredients do you think, does anyone have any ideas that you can place in your mac and cheese to taste nicer? Yes.
Cheese.
Cheese we're going to put in there anyway, yeah? Any other ideas? Any other ideas? Yes?
Chili powder.
Chili powder, excellent. Garlic, salt, pepper, okay? You can place mustard in here as well, because mustard helps enhance the flavour of the cheese as well, okay? So as you can see, my sauce is really thick right now, okay? It's really, really thick right now. I've put the temperature really low. Just lift it up a little bit like that, okay? It's really thick, the sauce. It is still a little bit lumpy, but when I put the cheese in there, it will carry on melting. And then I can use my balloon whisk if I still need to. At at this point, if I think I need to make it a little bit thinner, I could add some of my pasta water, okay? Going to give that a quick stir, so make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. And actually, I will add a little bit of pasta water in here. Okay? Now, lid goes on. Give that a quick stir. And that hot starch water has helped me break up those lumps that were in my sauce here, okay? There you go. Okay, now time for some flavour. Okay. I have a teaspoon here, which I'm going to put a heaped teaspoon of mixed herbs. Excellent, write this down, guys. I'm going to put a leveled teaspoon of chili powder. I will put a leveled teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning and half a teaspoon of mustard. Okay. Now I'm going to give that a quick stir. Macaroni cheese takes a little while to cook, so you have to all work together, okay? Learn to work well in your groups, learn to delegate jobs. Everyone share a job, particularly that if this is the most fun part of the job, then share that job, okay? Keeping an eye on your pasta always. So I'm going to put the temperature down so that can keep on cooking, but with the lid on. Okay. Now for a moment, I'm going to turn the cheese sauce off, okay? Placing my spatula in this. Now I have some garlic. I'm going to take 3 cloves of garlic. Facing my knife away from me, I will apply some pressure and crush the garlic. Okay? And then I will slice and dice. You can try and make sure that your knife is always on the chopping board, okay? And I've used a brown chopping board because this is the one for the vegetables. And gathering it up, holding this, the front of the knife, the nose of the knife here, downwards, and then just moving your knife around, okay? Keeping your eye on the blade at all times as well. Because we want to be safe at all times, making sure our fingers are not chopped, someone else's fingers are not chopped while we're cooking, okay? Taking the garlic off. Now, pick the chopping board up, gently coax it into the pan, okay? When you put anything into your pan when you are cooking, make sure it's quite low, okay? You don't want to throw it in. Tell me what will happen if I throw ingredients in. Yes. It's going to splash up at me, and then what will happen to me? Yes. I'll get burnt. Exactly. We don't want to get burnt, okay? So, really crucial that we don't get burnt. So now I'm going to mix that garlic in. Time for some cheese. Okay. The reason I haven't put salt and pepper in as yet, well, salt mainly, is because the all-purpose seasoning has salt in there already, and cheese is quite salty as well. So we'll put some in a moment, right at the end, okay? Put in 2 handfuls of cheese, about 50 grams of cheese. Taking maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And if you add more ingredients, you can't always taste them. You can taste it at the end, but you can't take those ingredients out. So what I would suggest is that put less in first. If you want to add more, then you can always add more, okay? Now my sauce is hot, so this is why the temperatures, I've turned it off. I don't need to have this on at the moment, okay? Because it was all quite piping hot. I'm giving that a good stir so the cheese melts. Now 1 more ingredient, because I want to make this nice and rich and creamy, and when I will put the heat back on for a moment for, is I will be using some soft cheese as well, okay? Some cream cheese. Okay, this is cream and garlic herb one. If you've got whichever one you have at home, you can use. taking 1/4 of that, placing that in to my hot pan. Using my spatula to take off all the ingredients because we don't want to waste any. Putting the temperature back on, medium heat. Give it a chance for everything else to melt now, okay? And give this a nice stir. As you can see, the sauce is really thick, okay? Making sure we're going around the pan when we are, I'm just going to tilt that so you guys can see it, okay? We've got a nice thick sauce here. Doing that good stuff with the heat on now. Some people like their sauce quite thick like this. Some people like it a little bit more runny, so it's a bit creamier when you end up cooking it, okay? Because this will go into the oven. So when it goes into the oven, does anybody know what will happen to it when it goes into the oven? Yes. It's going to bake, yes, it's going to get a nice crisp layer. And then what else will it do you think? Yeah, it solidifies a little bit more, okay? So it'll go a bit more solid. So if you like it a little bit runny, then it won't do that. So you can, at this point, does anybody know what I could do to make it a little bit more runny if I wanted to? Yeah.
I'd like more milk or something.
Milk? Maybe what do I have on my stove that I could use? Yes.
Pasta water.
The pasta water, excellent. So you've got the starch pasta water. Maybe I might use a tiny bit more, okay? Only a tiny bit more. And there we go. Now my pasta is ready as well, so I'll turn that off. So there's no rush at this very second for me to drain that because I have got a job to do here. Okay? That's exactly the consistency of the sauce that I was looking for, okay? Just like that. Now, ready to turn this one off as well. Almost done. My knife will go into my sink and so will the things I don't need. But I will keep my chopping board there, placing it to the side because what we need to do right now is we need to drain our pasta, okay? So all the unwanted items that I don't need, put them on the side. Colander goes straight into my sink. What I do suggest with the wooden spoon, just give it a little stir so it's not got last bits of pasta at the bottom and you don't burn your hands while you try and take them out. Okay. And then you'll go and drain it just there. Pick your colander up with the part where it's going to be quite cool. Put it onto your pan that you are baking with anyway. Okay. Sorry, that you are boiling with, should I say. Okay. Now your pasta. Drain out any excess water on the side so it goes straight into your pan, okay? You're not making too much of a mess. And you're going to go straight in to the sauce. Now this will go into the sink. As you can see, when I'm moving my pans around, I'll take it around here, not over the floor. Because if we drop it on the floor, what will happen? Anyone tell me? Anyone? Yep.
It will leave a mark.
Yeah, it will leave a mark. What else could I do?
Well, we'll start a fire.
No, if there's something wet on the floor,
You
yeah.
can burn yourself.
If there's something wet on the floor,
You
yeah.
can slip.
Slip and fall. Okay, it's a hazard. We've got to make sure we're thinking about hazards when we're cooking. Right, slowly mixing that pasta in. Our macaroni with our cheese sauce. Bechamel sauce, they call it as well. We made the roux. So the roux was the part where we heated the butter and we added the flour and we made the roux and then we added the milk to make the sauce, okay? The white cheese sauce. Okay, now that is our consistency of our macaroni, okay? Now, I will bring a baking dish over, carefully, okay? We will help you with this part. We will pick our saucepan up, okay? And we will move our macaroni, we'll coax it in to our pan. Again, my pan is quite low, okay? Making sure I'm not spilling anything, I'm being careful, I'm not just throwing it all in quickly, okay? So I can make any mistakes or it goes everywhere. If you make mistakes, it's fine, okay? We're learning. That's what we're here for, it's not a problem. But try and remember these steps that I teach you. Okay. Using all of my ingredients up. There we go. Putting this down over here, so I don't need this at the moment. Now, time for a little bit of cheese to go on top. Okay, with the rest of the cheese. So this is a 4 cheese, so it's got all different types of cheese in here. It's got red Leicester cheese, it's got some Edam, it's got some cheddar. Okay. Covering the top with some cheese. Some people like lots of cheese, other people don't like too much cheese, okay? You just need a thin layer because we do have quite a lot of cheese in this recipe already, and it is quite rich and it is quite fatty. So can anybody tell me how you can make this a little bit more healthier? Yeah? Got vegetables, yeah? Yes.
Use 0% fat cheese.
Yeah, 0% fat cheese, yes. Less cheese, good, yeah?
Can you put vegetables in it?
Vegetables, excellent, yeah.
Deep fry it.
No, that would be completely opposite. Right, so we could use a really skimmed milk as well, okay? So you can change your recipe as well, depending on how healthy you want to have it. If you want to add some vegetables, not a problem. Broccoli is quite nice in this as well. Okay, this is a vegetarian dish. It's not a vegan one, it's a vegetarian dish. So now this is going to be put into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes to have a nice crisp golden layer on top. All right, thank you very much for being patient and watching.